Good afternoon. My name is Lauwz. I'm a student at GCU. Today we'll be just going through these slides. We'll be basically be looking into two type of system. One is Linux, the other one is Windows. So basically the main idea is trying to find out what are the difference in similarities, what are the things are the same and what are the things are different in regards to those two type of systems, Windows and also Linux. So I also created this slide over here, multiple slide here. Basically, kind of go over it just to see some of the basic things that's very different between Windows and Linux. So to begin, Linux was created a lot later. Linux was created a lot later than Windows. Windows are kind of first in the map, but Linux came on later into the arena. Created really by a German man. And so, but the one of the main difference with Linux is the fact that Linux is an open source, whereas Windows is not. Where if, so some of those is open source, which means that users can modify the source code. Where Windows, nothing cannot be modified. Everything is more locked into key. Linux is way more secure in many ways than Windows. Windows more of a common target for hackers due to the fact that it has a high amount of users, which means that hackers are more focused on creating certain Trojan horse or whatever attack they need to do to get into the system. So technically, if you're using a Linux system, you have to wear less with that. Linux system is very distinct. For example, if you're looking at the file folders, in the Linux system, the software are distinct folders, where in the Windows, they in a C drive. In Linux, hard drive CD is in room, and the printers are considered files. In Windows, I have a hard drive CD room, and printers are called devices. That's one of the things you look at. So there is a uh, hierarchical structure of Linux files that start with the root directory, but in Windows, that's not something you don't have in Windows. That's some of the difference. And Linux will allow you to name the Linux will allow two files with the same very title, the same name. But Windows, that cannot happen. I've tried that before. We basically give an error, tell you, hey, do you want to basically we write over whatever you have in that current file. However, though, but there are many things that are basically all the same. Similarity, all Windows and Linux in many ways can have vulnerabilities. They all could catch malware, but this does not only apply to Windows. So you could actually get an attack also on Linux. That's one of the things that's very similar. Windows can operate for a long period of time without need to be restart. That's another thing too. As with both Windows and Linux, damage to the files can also occur, which is not both of those things both could get damaged. Obviously, several type of work may be run on both Windows and Linux. That right there is everything that's very similar. They are bundles of software development tools available to use on both Windows and Linux. That's another thing where they're all the same. Critical software may be executed either on both of them. Embedded device can be run both on Linux and Windows. That too. Low memory computers, you may use operating a server on Windows and Linux depending on the preferences. Windows virtual memory may be used on both Windows and Linux operating system. Tests may be launched automatically both on Windows and Linux. So they all things that's very much the same when it comes to Linux and Windows in many ways. But however, Linux is still considered something that's very fast, a little bit faster than Windows, and also very. Some people find that Linux is a little bit more better to use, especially when it comes to a company. Explain why you prefer a system. Yes, for business, when it comes to business, most business would actually prefer Linux over Windows. one of the most important advantages of utilizing Linux system is that it is completely free. Where if you dealing with a business, if you could use an operating system or system that is free, that right there will help you when it comes to costs. Additionally, the most important aspect of the business, like I said, is keeping costs down. So, but because in Windows you have to get Microsoft license, which means you have to pay for these operating system like get license for them. So as a business, Linux is free, the cost goes down. That is good for your investors in the business practice in terms of expensive and stuff like that. Okay, and also constantly corporation would have to spend a lot of money also if you have a Windows system in regards to protecting it. If you're using Windows, because you have to get those special software, which you also have to pay money to get these things. So when it comes to cost, that also help. Guys, Windows is a lot more vulnerable than Linux, so which means you have to have a lot the best and the highest security, which is gonna cost the company a lot more money. Or compared at least to storage solution and enterprise network. Okay, so in regards to that video, that would be it. This is yes, yeah, that's that. Let me just double check one thing here. Let me just check. I just want to make sure. Okay, so we may have to talk about that also. Also on this part here, where I also added also in regards to storage spaces, what compared to last two solution, which we so these are different type of way. If you go like at the slide here, which I'm also gonna provide. These if you're looking for the type of storage, these will be considered pretty good storages. That the DAS is a storage accessibility via computer hard drive, which means you attach it directly to it, and the internal AHD and ASD ULAs can be run to connect that. Where you can actually access a network and direct attached to the storage users. DAS can be extract connect to the host computer or the server without a network. Internal DAS is a storage device connected to high-speed host bus adapted to server or PC. Therefore, as soon as the user access to the network, they may have access to the storage also on a NAS, which is a different type of storage devices on a computer network. Now, system is a network attached to storage device that is enabled on authorized network users and vary of client to access the data stored on the device. Nice system is capable and adaptable, allowing you to add more storage as needed, which is very important based on the type of business that you have. These right here will be a great one to use in regard to creating space. Former Christian. This question is a former Christian. From a Christian perspective, identify the consideration. Yes. So as I put here, in a Christian way, I say many aspects of the Western civilization, money, it is seen that it is the main thing that's put up front, but the widespread use of yeah. So yeah, this is basically what I put when you got to that. So if you looking if you in a Christian way, that the best way to summarize this is that if you're following God's rules as a company, you want to make sure that I do the best thing, not what is feasible in regards to money. Basically, you know what I'm saying? In regards to money, you want to do what is the best thing for what your customers and also your employees and organization, and also the community that you're serving. That you're making the right decision, not all based on money. So you're making sure that everything is properly safe and ethically, you're making an ethic decision. Is not directly based on money. If you're following a Christian way, you have to. It is do what would God do? What would Jesus do? So that's one of the ways. So basically, doing the right thing, even though it may cost you the most. That's why God will expect from all of us. That's the simplest way to put that part when we go to this question here. Well, I think we covered everything. Okay. Well, thank you very much.